Call to order. Can we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Member Axelrod,
Present.
member Murray,
Present.
member Perelman,
Present.
member Tribini,
Present.
present via Zoom, member Vice Chairperson Perlow. Here. And Chairperson Slam,
Present.
Town Attorney Rubin.
Present.
Thank you.
Okay, well, let's stand and we can say the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so we have the agenda from last month. Do we
Which-
have,
We need the approval of the current agenda, the August 9th agenda.
all right, okay, approval of our agenda. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, okay, the agenda is approved. Now we have swearing in of the public.
Roll.
Yes. Is there anyone here that's going to speak on a cold case that's on the agenda today? Please stand, raise your right hand, please
Yes.
stand, raise your right hand, please swear in. By the authority vested in me as a notary of the state of Florida, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
It's now time for public comment. Anyone who would like to make a comment, it's limited to 3 minutes per speaker. No one? Okay. In that case, we'll go on to the approval of minutes from July 12th, 2022. We reviewed those minutes. Does anybody see any problems with it? No, okay, so motion for approval of minutes,
I motion.
second, all in favor?
Aye.
Now we go on to unfinished business. I think these were ones that were put off from
Last.
last month because Mr. Manco is not with us now. So I take it we have a new code enforcement inspector. Is it
Officer.
officer? Okay. Here, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes.
Hey, good afternoon. I'm Adam Osowski. I've been with the town about a month. Before Highland Beach Code compliance, I was with Palm Beach County for 4 years. I've worked in multiple jurisdictions. Any question? I don't know anything you guys want to know? Yeah.
Welcome.
Okay,
Otherwise, I'm
welcome.
ready to go.
We'll hopefully get adjusted, as we run through the cases.
Yeah, correct.
Actually, I have a question. Is there much difference between Highland Beach and Palm Beach County codes? Or are they very similar?
Short answers are similar. One of the most common things, whether here or there, there's a lot of work being done without permits by contractors.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, that's what we're here for.
me too.
That's what's keeping us in business. All right, so unfinished business. We have case number CC 2203 014. It's LG Associates LLC, 4511 South Ocean Boulevard, Unit 503. That's the 4500 Ocean Building. We get a lot from over there. So let's see, building permits required. And the violation observed was washer dryer box installation without permit and no required trap. So
Need Adam's report.
what's that?
We need Adam's report.
Yeah, I understand. Okay, so let's, my usual script isn't here, but let's just, have the city, the town, okay. Oh, any board members have any ex parte communications to disclose? At this time, I now open a violation hearing. I turn it over to Staff Code Enforcement Officer Adam Osowski for testimony and recommendations.
This is item letter A on today's agenda. The case number is CC 2022-03-014. My name is Adam Osowski, Town of Highland Beach Code Compliance Officer, and I've been previously sworn in. The respondent is LG Associates LLC. The property address is 4511 South Ocean Boulevard, Unit 503. The property was inspected by Code Compliance Officer Minko on March 29th, 2022. The violation that remain as cited on today's agenda are Code Section 30-122A, building permits required for a washer and dryer. The notice of violation was served by mail sent on March 29th, 2022. The respondent was given 30 days to come into compliance. The notice of hearing was served by posting and certified mail on June 28th, 2022. Prior to today's hearing, I re-inspected the permit records on August 2nd, 2022, and the violations continue to exist. I have submitted the following evidence, which includes proof of service, supporting documents, and photographs. The town recommends that the respondent be found in violation of the town code as alleged in the notice of violation and be fined $250 per day for each day the violation remains after the date set for compliance. The town is asking to assess prosecution costs in the amount of $250 payable by the date set for compliance.
So this has been going on since the end of March.
Correct.
I have one question. Is this a replacement of a washer dryer? Or washer, let's say in this case? Because this is my concern. Is this, as far as I know, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but to replace a washer, you do not need a permit. I hope not anyway, because unless this is new, because years ago I did to change a washer and never had to get a permit.
Yeah.
Now, can Jeff, can you answer that?
Yeah, Jeff needs to be sworn in.
Oh, okay.
Manelda. Thank you.
By the authority vested in me as a notary of the state of Florida, you swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Thank you.
I'll address your question
Thank you.
as the technical expert.
Okay,
The washer dryer box is a plumbing fixture. It's
Okay.
not an actual washer or dryer,
okay,
right? So whether it's being replaced or whether it's being installed for the first time, it requires a permit. And in this particular case, not only was it being put in without a permit, but it was also being put in wrong, which is why it was stated that there was no required trap. So the way they were putting it in was going to allow the sewer gases to constantly come out into the building.
okay.
Okay, just so you
Thank you.
got it.
Appreciate it.
So to replace a dryer, a washer or a dryer, does require a permit then, correct? Because
Oh.
if
No.
you're gonna replace it, you have to have the box, right? A new box put in, or unless
don't
the
think
same
so.
box.
No, if you have a plug-in appliance, any plug-in appliance, you
Yeah.
can just remove it and put a new one in. That does
Right.
not require a
Right.
permit
Okay,
whatsoever.
like what he said.
Okay,
Right, but this is literally changing the plumbing box, which is where the fixtures are, where the hot and cold are, where
Right.
the anti-tamper valves are, where the drain and waste pipe is, the DWV pipe. So they were actually had the wall open and were
Okay.
installing a new, tying into the plumbing of the building. It
okay.
had nothing to do with removing or replacing appliance.
Okay.
But that would be okay if someone was just swapping out a
There's
dryer.
not a problem. You can remove and replace appliances all day long, as
So
long as
this-
they're plug and play appliances.
Not an AC though.
No, AC,
No, not
you
an,
need
because
that.
it's not a
You
plug and
You
play.
need to think of that.
Right.
But this was a condo though, a condo and they saw it. I mean,
It's a condominium, yes.
Mhm.
and he tried to do this without condo approval?
That I'm unaware of. I'm only aware of the permitting issue.
There was no
Uh.
permit. That's all we know. But the offender,
Yeah.
is he here? What's the name is Leah Gabby. Do we have anyone here representing Ms.
Nope.
Gabby? So we don't have anyone present on behalf of the offender. Does the town staff have, all right, does the offender? All right, so there's no rebuttal testimony. In that case, then public hearing is now closed on this, and we'll just rule. We can discuss it. Does anyone have a motion for the staff's recommendation?
This is the usual thing where we have to give them like usually 30 days to correct.
Is that the
You don't have
recommendation?
to give them 30 days.
How long has it been?
Since March,
Since March?
10 days, good. I'll go with that.
No.
So what do they have to do now? They have to get a permit now? I mean, they already did it, right? I mean, they already swapped it out.
They still have to get,
They still have to get a
bring
permit.
permit in, and the town has to come back and check it,
Right,
to make sure
because
it's done right at this point. So that's what has to be done. And they were notified of this when
Back in-
initially? That they were, no, that they had no permit. I'm
Do
just
do we
saying.
know that they've corrected the situation?
They were
Oh.
notified by Officer Manco back on March 29th, 2022. And since I've been employed by the town, I've had no contact with the respondent.
Okay.
So we don't even know that it's been properly repaired or a permit has been applied for.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, obviously a permit's not, because he checked.
it's still.
Yeah, there's no permit.
I'd say give them 10 days.
Well, that's brutal, but he's new.
to get a permit,
what?
It-
10 days to do it.
No, 10 days to get a permit.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'd say 2 weeks.
No, that's fine.
I think we have to ask the building. Jeff, is it possible to do this in 10 days or 2 weeks
To get a permit?
to get the permit? It is.
It is, okay.
So the official answer on record is that it can be done if they provide the proper paperwork. They've had since March, they haven't even applied.
Right.
Well,
Yeah, to at least
Okay.
apply.
I move that the respondent be found in violation of the town code as alleged in the notice of violation. And that he, she, they be ordered to comply within 10 days of this date to file for a permit or be fined $250 per day for each day the violation remains after the date set for compliance, and assess prosecution costs in the amount of $250 payable by the date set for compliance.
Okay.
I second
Jeff?
it.
I'll-
Before you vote, and I hate to do this,
Yeah.
I am, as the building official, I'm a little concerned about the motion because you're giving them time to apply for a permit.
Mm,
You're not giving
Yeah.
them time to secure the permit. So they can apply for a permit and then they're compliant with it.
mm.
Anyone can apply and not do the follow-up paperwork.
Yeah, the violation is work without a permit, so they'd actually need a permit.
So the word should be changed.
So they need to
Secure.
have a permit secured.
Fine, we
Okay.
amend your motion.
Yeah, we,
I
Give them
think,
more time?
I think they need a little more time.
Okay.
I'm good with 2 weeks.
Well, do I need to restate the violation?
Yeah.
I move that the respondent be found in violation of the town code as alleged in the notice of violation. And that he, she, they be ordered to comply with and to obtain a permit within 20 days of this date. Or be fined $250 per day for each day the violation remains after the date set for compliance. And assess prosecution costs in the amount of $250 payable by the date set for compliance.
If this has not been repaired, does that, Jeff, does this put that building in danger from the leaking of this gas that could if they use it? I'm just wondering if it's in our power to say, and that washer dryer shall not be used until such time as the is corrected.
Well, there's ways around. Sometimes they can put a plug in there to stop it until they make the correction. They may have already made the correction. We have no idea because we
Okay.
haven't had access to the
Yeah.
property since then. So I think
Leave it alone.
it's been so long. I think if we just follow the regular course of action, we should be fine.
Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Town clerk, please call the roll.
Okay.
Sit on favor.
Yeah.
Member Pearlman,
Aye.
Vice Chairperson Perlow,
Aye.
Member Axelrod.
Yes.
Member Murray,
Yes.
Chairperson Slam,
Yes.
and Member Tribini.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Okay, on to the next case. 22-04-016, James L. Day at 4430 Tranquility Drive, that's in Bellito. Let's see, we have a nuisance code here. Swimming pool, spa, and hot tub screening. Swimming pools and swimming pool enclosures. All right, the violation. It says that they complied by May 10th. But there was an observed pool pump system in disrepair, creating noise and nuisance. Observed pool mechanical equipment with no required screening fence. An observed broken pool enclosure gate latch. Okay, do any of the board members have ex parte communications to disclose? At this time, I now open a violation hearing. I turn it over to Mr. Osowski.
Yeah.
Testimony?
Yeah.
Mr. Osowski?
Sorry. This is item letter B on today's agenda.
Yes.
The case number is CC 2022-04-016. My name is Adam Osowski and I've been previously sworn in. The respondent is James L. Day. The property address is 4430 Tranquility Drive. CCL Manco inspected the property on April 28th, 2022. The notice of violation was served by mail that was sent on April 28th, 2022. The respondent was given 28 days to come into compliance. The notice of hearing was served by certified mail sent on June 28th, 2022. Prior to today's hearing, I re-inspected the property and permit record on August 2nd, 2022, and all violations have been corrected. I have submitted the following evidence, which includes proof of service, supporting documents, and photographs. The town recommends that the respondent be found to have been in violation of town code as alleged in notice of violation. The town is asking to assess the prosecution costs in the amount of $250 payable by the your
30 days.
30 days.
Okay, so we're looking for a motion here that there was a violation, but it was corrected prior to the hearing. So someone have that motion? Anyone?
Did you open for comments?
Well, okay, we don't, yeah, we actually, yeah.
It's number two.
Yeah, I know it's number 2, but we don't. I need to ask if Mr. Day is actually present. Is he? You are representing him.
Okay.
Do you have anything?
She wasn't sworn in.
She was one.
Well, she
No.
doesn't, she's not giving any comment.
She's just there.
Okay, all right. Well, the problem's been corrected.
Right, so
So number 2 on here, someone want to make the motion?
I'll make the move, and I move that the respondents be found in violation of the town code as alleged in the notice of violation, but is or are now in compliance, and that a do not repeal order be issued. This motion may include the assessment of prosecution costs at $250, because the town proved that a violation did exist.
Yeah, we can make that payable within 30 days.
Payable in 30 days
Thank you.
yeah.
That's the motion. Is there a second?
Is there, wait a minute, is there a do not repeat on that?
Yes,
And do not repeat. Yeah, I said that in the beginning.
there's always technically a do not repeat because a repeat if they violate again, it becomes a repeat violation.
Okay, are we doing a roll call?
Yes. Vice Chairperson Perlo,
Here, yes,
Member Murray,
Yes.
Member Axelrod,
Yes.
Member Pearlman,
Yes.
Member Tribini,
Yes,
and Chairperson Schlam.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, next case is CC 22-05-004 Timothy Fisher. And that is also at Bellito. Code violation 30-122. An AC change out without permit. I was just talking about that. Do any board members have ex parte communications to disclose? At this time, I open a violation hearing, turn it over to Mr. Ozowski for testimony.
This is case CC 2022-05-004. My name is Adam Osowski and I have been previously sworn in. The respondent is Timothy Fisher. The property address is 1123 Highland Beach Drive. CCO Manco inspected the property on May 13th, 2022. The violations that remain as cited on today's agenda are section 30-122A, permit required for an AC changeout. The notice of violation was served by posting and certified mail on May 13th, 2022. The respondent was given 14 days to come into compliance. The notice of hearing was served by certified mail sent on June 28th, 2022. Prior to today's hearing, I re-inspected the permit records on August 3rd, 2022, and the violations continue to exist. I have submitted the following evidence, which includes proof of service, supporting documents, and photographs. The town recommends that the respondent be found in violation of the town code as alleged in the notice of violation and be fined $250 per day for each day the violation remains after the date set for compliance. The town is asking to assess prosecution costs in the amount of $250 payable by the date set for compliance.
In this picture here, I see it. Just a cement platform with nothing on it. Is that's where he removed?
Correct,
He allegedly removed the AC unit.
correct.
So,
There is a permit that has been applied for since.
Yeah.
It's just waiting for the final inspection.
Uh-huh.
So it's not
Yeah.
completed.
When was that applied for?
Let me check the records.
Does board have any questions for staff?
The permit was initiated on March 5th.
Wait a second.
Actually, that's not,
I was gonna say.
yeah.
Wait a second.
No, this isn't. No, yeah.
You said March 5th?
As raised the.
No, that was the
We were
incorrect
correct,
permit.
that's,
No, there's actually not one for. Would be May 13th. There's actually not a permit applied for.
No.
okay.
There's no unit either.
Right,
Oh, different one.
but they still took one out.
Yeah.
You
So
can't-
there's no permit.
There's no permit on file, I'm sorry. There was
Did they ever put a new AC in there? I mean, they pulled the old one out.
Considering the weather, I would think. yes, they
Yeah,
probably
You would think
did.
they have one. right?
yeah, I mean, I saw an AC unit when I went out to get familiar with the. Yeah.
So this is just,
You see it on that thing. You don't see a picture of it. The old one.
Yeah, that's the old picture. He didn't take an updated picture.
Do we have any questions for staff? Okay, now, is the offender here, Mr. Fisher?
Is he here?
Is
No.
Mr. Fisher here? Is he on Zoom or anything? No,
nope,
nobody here representing him? Okay, in that case, it's time for the board to. Yeah, that would be, it would be a violation did occur and has not been corrected. So that would be number 3.
Number 3.
yeah. Now, when do you want to date that from? though?
You move it, David.
I
Someone
Okay.
put it up.
mean, what,
I move that the respondent be found in violation of the town code as alleged in the notice of violation. And that he be ordered to comply within 2 weeks of this day to file an application for a permit or be fined $250 per day for each day the violation remains after the date set for compliance. And assess prosecution costs in the amount of $250 payable by the date set for compliance.
Yeah.
All right,
compliance is
again,
To
you said
obtain a permit.
to obtain a permit, right? So not just to apply, but to apply and obtain,
Mhm.
to obtain. So that means, if the town is behind in issuing permits or whatever, and it takes 3 weeks, he's gonna be fined $250 a day for that.
For 7 days.
Right.
Well,
I can address that. Our average issuance for AC changeouts is 0 to 1 day.
okay.
So it's pretty much same day, next day service for AC changeouts. So there will be no issue with that.
That's good.
Okay,
He was notified in June.
Yeah.
Mhm.
June, yeah. Yeah, and he's already done the job.
Right.
Job's done.
Job's
It's
done
just a
and
matter
he's-
now retroactively applying.
And
for-
he's in New York. Okay,
We
so
don't know
let's,
it's in New York, that's his address
let's-
given, but we don't.
yeah,
We have a motion. We have a second.
I'll second.
I-
Okay, member Pearlman,
Yes.
member Axelrod,
Yes,
member Murray,
Yes.
member Tribini,
Yes,
vice chairperson Perlo,
yes.
and chairperson Slam.
Yes,
Motion carries.
okay, on to
No.
case number CC 22-05-006. That is Jill Gillis on 4023 South Ocean Boulevard. Building permits required. The violation, observed earth removal east of CCL. Okay,
Coastal construction line.
coastal construction line without a permit. So we're talking about earth removal here. Do the board members have any ex parte communications to disclose? Okay, at this time, I now open the violation hearing and turn it over to code enforcement officer.
Case number is CC 2022-05-006. My name is Adam Osowski and I have been previously sworn in. The respondent is Jill Gillis. The property address is 4023 South Ocean Boulevard. CCO Minko inspected the property on May 13th, 2022. The violation that remains cited on today's agenda are section 30-122A, earth removal without a permit. The notice of violation was served by posting and mail on May 13th, 2022. The respondent was given 14 days to come into compliance. The notice of hearing was served by posting and certified mail sent on June 28th, 2022. Prior to today's hearing, I re-inspected the permit records on August 4th, 2022, and the violations continue to exist. I've submitted the following evidence, which includes proof of service, supporting documents, and photographs. The town recommends that the respondent be found in violation of the town code as alleged in the notice of violation and be fined $250 per day for each day the violation remains after the date set for compliance. The town is asking to assess prosecution costs in the amount of $250 payable by the date set for compliance.
Explain what that hole is. I mean, what part of the world, this obviously is not just a hole, so how did you do some other work being done?
That, I'm not, do you know Jason's case? Or-
Oh,
Okay. The respondent's actually.
oh,
present.
okay.
That's good.
You,
Yeah.
okay, that was my next question. Or doesn't have any more questions for Mr.
No.
Osowski?
Let's see if,
Okay, in that case, the offender may now give testimony. Please come up and provide your name and affiliation. The violation.
How's everyone doing today?
Okay.
My name is Joshua Stuckwish. I'm representing, it's Jill Giles,
Okay.
yes. So essentially what happened was the hole you're looking at was kind of like a large flower box. It's covered in concrete and cinder blocks entirely. It's not from the earth.
Are you the contractor?
No. I represent her because she lives out of state. So I handle all her affairs down here. So basically what she wanted to do is she's looking to install a elevator shaft on the side of her home, right there in the picture. The engineer came out, there used to be a palm tree in there. So essentially the engineer said, I wanted to see how the structure was, supported. So he informed us to remove the tree and remove some soil so he could see how it was built. When the landscaper was out there doing so, that's when the officer stopped by and saw that they were digging and cited her. So once that happened, we came to the office and I don't believe it was him, it was a previous.
Mr. Manco.
Yes, so I contacted him. We discussed it. He told me to reach out to the DEP first because they needed to pull a permit. And I have all the emails back and forth from DEP here. So we reached out to them. They first responded back that they were behind, of course, because millions of people sending stuff in, and that they would reach out with us for a pre-application. We filled out the pre-application. They reached back to us, said that, I have it in here. It says that we would not need a permit where it was located. Okay. I took that information in to the office and Jeff realized there was a discrepancy on it, that it wasn't just involving DEP, it was also involving the coastal line. So I called back, I talked to, his name's Alex over there at DEP, and he said that I have an email here, and I think they forwarded to the officers as well, that they were going to reach out to another department. And they were gonna fill out another application, another permit, and all this had to be done before we could even touch base on filling out a permit locally. So it was kind of like a back and forth, tug and pull kind of thing. But the entire time we've been in communication trying to figure it out. And that's why I'm here, just to explain the whole situation.
So it sounds like there's multiple departments here. And you know, the town of Highland Beach can't even address the issue until you do this preliminary stuff with the
With-
coastal committee.
They're
of
like statewide, so like.
State committee of
Yeah.
coastal. Whatever they're called.
Yeah, so I have to
Nice.
pull a permit through them before I pull a permit through you guys. And my original thing, when they emailed us, and I have the email here, if you guys like to look at it, it said you don't need one. So when I got that information, I took it to them. I thought it was enough said, but then he saw a discrepancy, so I went back to them. Then they're like, oh yeah, well, this guy's new. We gotta send it over to this department, and I have all those emails in file here if you guys like to take a look.
Anyone have any questions?
No permit's been pulled at this point in time for the elevator construction, I'm saying.
Well, the elevator construction isn't even a thought yet.
Okay,
They were
Just
just
the
trying to
whole-
figure out if it was feasible, because I have other pictures if that one's bad. It's like a box on the outside of their house.
Yeah.
And it was full of dirt. And they wanted to see, because they want the elevator to go in the garage and they wanted to go up to the second floor. So they wanted to see if what's already standing there could be used as part of the shaft. And the engineer needed to see inside it,
Yeah.
see if that was feasible.
It was like a test.
Yeah.
you know,
It was like
test.
exploratory,
Yeah.
basically, yeah. And we were going to put the dirt back once it was done, but then we realized that when he stopped by, he's like, oh, you can't do that, then this happened, so. Then we started following the procedures,
And you halted right at that time.
Halted.
Everything.
Plywood over the hole, and we haven't touched it since.
Well, this could take months or years.
Well,
I
I
would
have
love
an
to see
email
the
here
table
saying
this.
that they're gonna reach out to us on pulling the permit through the state, through the DEP. And then once either they say no or they say yes, then we can go to the city and pull the permit
Yeah.
for the city.
I have a
And
question.
state rules overcome, I believe, state rules overcome.
Yeah,
town
it's,
rules.
Yeah.
I have a
Right.
question for code enforcement. Does code enforcement believe that a permit is required at this time?
The permit is required. There's the tree removal and then the coastline.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to see this table until the state comes back and gets a straight order, stuff like that, and then come back.
I agree, David, because we don't know how long it'll take.
We don't know how long this is gonna take. We can't put a timing on it and stuff like that.
Oh,
Can
I
we
mean,
do
you
that?
could give a few months, find him. I mean, there is a violation, but you're gonna table it
What
till
is that
when?
called again? I know the name
What?
legally with the state.
Preemption.
Yeah,
Right,
that's what- yeah.
preempt.
That's what.
I agree. We should, it's just multiple
Agents,
issues here, and it seems like, like the violator or the
He's attempted. to get-
offender is doing everything they
Right,
can
he's
do.
attempting to get a permit.
I mean,
Yeah.
other
Can't
than
get
the
a
fact
permit.
that they shouldn't have started digging the
No.
hole technically, right, before they had a permit, but they immediately stopped.
Right.
They've been going through the proper channels, and none of us really have control over the state. I'd like to see what the state says, because if they come back and say, first they told them that it was okay.
Right,
Then, so if they come back and say it's okay, then he can first go to our code enforcement and get a permit, which he wouldn't have been able to get up until then.
Why don't,
that's a good, that's the point.
well, oh, that's fine. I was just gonna make a suggestion. Why don't you continue it till the October meeting? That way they'll come back and they can tell you where they're at. So it doesn't just,
Okay,
We don't
Hang
have a
out
meeting
there.
in September.
well, or it's still September. I didn't know how much time you wanted to give them.
I
Give
think
'em 2
October
months.
is good, October.
Okay.
So if you
This is
continue it to the
summertime,
October
I think.
meeting, we don't have. to
Anyone have a
renotice.
motion to table this until October meeting?
I move that we table this.
They're gonna continue it
Continue it until the meeting in October.
to
whatever
the
that date is.
October meeting.
I just have one question for Jim. Have you ever given permits just for exploratory type things? Or does such an animal exist in Highland Beach where people are putting up elevators next to the house.
So the answer to exploratory work is typically what someone will do is they will call or email, and I'll ask them to follow up with an email saying, hey, this is what we're planning on doing. It's exploratory in nature. We're not going to be undermining, because sometimes they're doing work that requires temporary shoring.
Right.
We don't know that. So no one contacted at all. And there are many times where they could have contacted me and said, hey, this is what we're going to do. And I would have said, where on, near the home. And I would have said, I can't give you my blessing until you get a permit from DEP allowing you to do excavation within east of the coastal construction control line, the CCCL, coastal construction control line. That comes from DEP. So they're trying to get to DEP now after the fact. No one called in advance to say, hey, we're going to do this. Is this going to be okay? That didn't happen. So they were caught doing work. And then they were talking about an elevator. So we don't know at this point, what the whole point is. But we also have rules and regulations concerning the removal and replacement of trees.
Yeah.
So that's the other component of it, that until we know what the full scope of the work is, we don't know which permit is required. But what we do know is that work was done without any permits or any DEP approval, working east of the coastal construction control line.
Okay.
Now, I just gotta have a question about trees now. Now that you brought up trees, trees. You need a permit to remove a tree. What if it's one of those Australian pines that?
There are very detailed rules and regulations concerning trees. I don't know all of them. But at this point, until we know exactly what type of tree and the full scope of the work and that they have DEP approval, we can't really look at anything. But the town code does address removal and replacement of trees. There's times when it applies and there's times when it doesn't apply. There are certain trees that are protected. It's a very broad, there's a very broad area that involves with.
If it's
with
what do they
landscaping
call that?
trees.
Obstructive tree, like an Australian pine. It's not even supposed to be on the beach and it's there.
There are some
would-
invasive species.
Invasive, that's what I
Yeah.
meant, invasive. Okay. Hey, you learn something new every day. Yeah,
If you do the whole make me come back thing, if I get this resolved prior to the whole. hearing,
then we can
Dishwashing.
take it off the agenda if we get notified by.
Yeah.
By Mr.
Adam.
Agreements,
Or
right,
Adam.
or Adam,
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
I need his last.
Sir, could you, the clerk needs your last name, if you could spell it.
It's a Stuckwish, STUCKWISH.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So I thought I made the motion.
Yeah, there was a motion to continue to October, correct?
Right,
Continue.
continue. has to be
Motion to
signed.
continue.
Who made the
Who
motion?
made the
I did.
Axelrod?
Who seconded?
Okay, Dave. Second, good.
Thank you.
We have a roll call or no?
Roll call. We would say member Axelrod,
Yes.
member Pearlman, member Murray,
Yes.
member Tribini,
Yes.
vice chairperson Perlo,
Yes.
and chairperson Slam.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, now we're on the last case. Number 22-05 -014. And this is 4108 South Ocean Boulevard. Building permits required is the code. Violations, observe the front door installation without a permit. Any ex parte communications to disclose? At this time, I open the violation hearing. I turn it over to Mr. Osowski for testimony and recommendations regarding the violation.
Case number is CC 2022-05-014. My name is Adam Osowski and I've been previously sworn in. The respondent is TKS LLC. The property address is 4108 South Ocean Boulevard. CCO Mainco inspected the property on May 25th, 2022. The violations that remain as cited on today's agenda are section 30-122A, front door installed without permit. The notice of violation was served by posting and mail sent on May 25th, 2022. The respondent was given 14 days to come into compliance. The notice of hearing was served by posting and certified mail on June 28th, 2022. Prior to today's hearing, I re-inspected the permit records on August 5th, 2022, and the violations continue to exist. I have submitted the following evidence, which includes proof of service, supporting documents, and photographs. The town recommends that the respondent be found in violation of the town code as alleged in the notice of violation and be fined $250 per day for each day the violation remains after the date set for compliance. The town is asking to assess prosecution costs in the amount of $250 payable by the date set for compliance.
Ah, that's a nice store too.
Yes.
French store, right?
See, my real question is, why the heck do you need a permit to put in a door? Is there, Jeff, is there any way you can answer that? Or is that was, why that was the side of the pond? Why a permit is necessary to replace a door?
I'd be happy to answer that question.
Thank you.
Not a problem. So under the Florida Building Code, removal and replacement of an exterior door is required because we live in a hurricane area and all of these windows and doors must be specifically rated
You just answered the
for
question.
negative pressure and positive pressure because they are part of the structure. And a failure of any one of those components without proper any type of shutters, then the door itself has to be able to withstand the pressures. Because if you have a failure of any one of these, it can be basically the domino effect for a building. So it's extremely critical that all exterior windows and doors go through the permitting process. May not be the case or as important if you lived in Western Pennsylvania or somewhere else like that. But when in a hurricane area, it is actually critical that these rules and regulations be in place.
You know, maybe this is just a suggestion that I'm sure many of our residents in this town do not know that. And it would certainly be worthwhile at some point in time to send out a notification regarding that. So the residents, contractors probably don't know it either, because if they're contractors from out west, they're not going to worry about, the hurricanes and stuff like that.
So
I
that's
would
every
highly suggest that.
municipality. Yeah, that's every municipality in Florida. And I've been dealing with I didn't know it
Yeah.
needed a permit for over 20
Now,
years.
maybe as they say.
We can put out a lot of stuff, but certain things, and every contractor is aware because it's part of their licensing.
Okay.
All right.
I just got phone call. I'm sorry, Jeff.
Okay. So obviously this is
Isn't there a separate, someone has to do a mitigation on those, like the windows, mitigation, wind mitigation?
what's rated?
Report? No?
Not for part of the building permit.
No,
Okay, that's,
it's rated. So this is the single violation.
it's a single violation. And corrected, no, there was nothing to correct. What were you asking for?
Or to be found in violation. And then if they don't meet the compliance date, a daily fine of $250 per day.
What's the
And-
compliance date?
I leave that to the board's
That's to us.
discretion.
You think 2 weeks?
And you're
2
seeking
weeks.
prosecution costs too. correct?
Correct.
And 250?
Yeah,
Yeah, and 250.
okay. You can
Wait
do
a
it.
second,
Yeah,
what I didn't ask is, I guess there is no offender. Just want to make sure there's no one on Zoom or anything here. From TKS. They
No
have
one
the
is
right to
present.
be here, but
They're
they're
not.
not here. Okay.
So you
Alright,
close
so
the
is there a
public
motion?
hearing.
Do we have a motion here?
Okay, I move the respondents be found in violation of the town code as alleged in the notice of violation. And that he, she, they be ordered to comply and file for
Obtain.
Obtain.
okay.
building permit within 2 weeks of this date. Or be fined $250 per day for each day the violation remains after the date set for compliance, and assess prosecution costs in the amount of $250 payable by the date set for compliance.
And there should be no reason why they can't get a permit on a door, right? Within
In 2 weeks.
a couple days. I know you said that for a AC, it's 1 day or under less than a day. How long would it take for
For a door.
a door?
Typically, windows and doors come out in less than a week. They did apply for multiple times the wrong way, but they did apply for a permit about a month ago, and it was rejected, asking for more information, and they have yet to even respond to that. So
Oh,
they've
okay.
already applied, they're already in process. So if you're going
2
to give
weeks.
2 weeks, that is more than adequate.
2 weeks.
Okay.
Okay.
I second it, whatever you, David.
All in favor?
So you want a roll call? So I have as the first motion is member Pearlman. The second motion was member Axelrod. So, and then I have member Murray, roll call.
Yes.
Member Tribini,
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Perlo,
Yes.
and Chairperson Slam.
Yes,
Motion carries.
Yes, my vote.
I got it.
Because you made the
I
motion.
got it.
made the motion. Okay,
We
so
got
that
one
was,
more.
no, we don't have one more.
Yes, we do.
We do, we have a roof.
Yeah,
Correct, there's item A under new business.
There's a new business.
Oh, that's right. Nicholas Economist. Okay, that is CC 2022-06-002, Nicholas Economist. And that is the Ocean Grand Place. It's right next door to where we are here, I think, or next to Toscana.
Yeah.
Between us and Highland Beach Club and Toscana.
Yeah.
Okay. Observe the roof in disrepair, causing a nuisance hazard. Board members have any ex parte communications to disclose? This time I open the violation hearing.
This is case number CC 2022-06-002. My name is Adam Osowski, and I have been previously sworn in. The respondent is Nicholas Economist. The property address is 3646 South Ocean Boulevard, number 13. CCO Manco inspected the property on June 3rd, 2022. The violations that remain as cited on today's agenda are section 17-3 nuisances and section 30-122A building permits required. CCO Manco originally observed the roof in disrepair, causing a nuisance and hazard. The notice of violation was served by posting and mail sent on June 3rd, 2022. The respondent was given 14 days to come into compliance. The notice of hearing was served by posting and certified mail sent on June 28th, 2022. Prior to today's hearing, I re-inspected the permit records on August 5th, 2022, and the violations continue to exist. I've submitted the following evidence, which includes proof of service, supporting documents, and photographs. The town recommends that the respondent be found in violation of the town code as alleged in the notice of violation and be fined $250 per day for each day the violation remains after the date set for compliance. The town is asking to assess prosecution costs in the amount of $250 payable by the date set for compliance.
I didn't get those pictures for some reason. Let me see.
Are those shingles loose up there? Probably I'm just.
Gee. On CCO Manco was the one that did the
Oh, so you
original
don't know.
inspection. I mean, I'm familiar with the permit records and I have talked to Mr. Economist's assistant, but I haven't been out there to like inspect the roof as Manco.
Because if he's listing as dangerous, then
Yeah.
and it's
especially
not done, that's not good.
Is it completed? Because I know it's in process.
Yeah, right next door to us.
Those are-
You go-
Yeah,
You go north.
that's my building right there.
Okay, there's a permit that's been issued
Say it.
recently.
There is a permit.
There is a permit. Oops.
Right, so they now have a permit in place. They have applied for and secured a permit to make the repairs. Okay. They have failed every inspection, but they have a permit in place, and that's something that we're dealing with now through the Florida Building Code process. So the reality is they had an issue. I think they were doing work with trying to repair something without a permit, got caught, and now they are compliant because they've already secured a permit. So I believe at this point, which is why the code compliance officer, Osowski, was only asking for the cost of prosecution, is because the permit has already been issued. So they're compliant with that component, but we just need a finding of fact
That there
on
was a
that
violation.
there was a violation. And that's it. And the permit has been issued, and now it's being handled solely through the Florida Building Code process. We could be done here today with this one.
So that's-
Okay, I don't see any offender here, right? There's nobody here on behalf of Mr. Economist. Okay, yeah, well, no, corrected. Oh, it's in process, just that a violation occurred. That's it, I guess.
It's a number two, it's
Is it
corrected.
Number two,
But you do
All right.
want to charge him the $250
Yeah,
prosecution.
right?
yes.
So- So let's have a motion.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Mhm.
Okay. I
Yeah.
move that the respondents be found in violation of the town code as alleged in the notice of violation, but are now in compliance. And that a do not repeat order be issued. This motion may include the assessment of prosecution
Shall.
costs, which I think should be at 200.
Shall be.
Shall be at $250 because the town proved that a violation did exist.
And can that be payable within 30 days?
It
please?
is in 30 days.
Thank you.
Of today.
Okay.
Town clerk.
Is there a second?
Yes,
Oh.
we need a second. Okay, Vice Chairperson Perlo,
Yes.
Member Pearlman,
Yes.
Member Axelrod,
Yes.
Member Murray,
Yes.
Member Tribini,
Yes,
and Chairperson Schlam.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All righty, so let's see. Town. We are now at the announcements. Announcements, August 16th. At 1:30 PM is a town commission meeting. August 25th at noon is the town commission special meeting. And September 6th, town commission meeting, September 6th. That's at 1:30, and at 5 PM is a special town commission first public hearing at a budget meeting. September 8th, 9:30 AM, planning board regular meeting. And our next meeting for code enforcement is September 13th at 1 PM. Let me just make sure I have that in my, sure I have it in here already. Well, yep, I have it. September 21st at 5 PM, Town Commission Special First Public Hearing Budget Meeting.
Correction, that's a second public hearing meeting, second.
Second,
Yeah, it's a correction.
all right, it says first, right? We already had it.
Should be.
It's a special second hearing. Okay. And there being no further business to come before the board, this meeting is adjourned at 2 o'clock on the dot. Exactly an hour.
Pretty good.
Not bad. 6 cases, an
Yeah,
hour.
good job.
Good job.
Hey, thank you, Adam.
Let me bang the gavel. All right, that makes it official, all right?
Where are you going? What? Where are you going? Well, we're first heading up to Boston. I spent then we're flying to Boston. We're flying to Haifa, to Israel.
Yeah.
Then we're spending 5 days in Israel. So we've been there. This is that visit with friends. And then get on the ship that will go to Israel. Italy. Then we'll come back